Hi, welcome back to another TerranScapes video. This video is going to be the next installment of the chronicling of a personal terrain project that I'm doing for the Unplugged Gamers GT, which is going to be in April, late April of next year. I got corrected on that by the club, I believe April 25th, 26th. But again, check the Unplugged GT site for updates on that, and I'll put a link down in the bottom for that. If you have not seen part one of the sort of introduction of this project, you can go back. There's the back finger. It's not that far back. I'm not going to put a link up here, and who knows, you might find something else of interest in the video list if you're new to the channel. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Always appreciate it. And so, there's really not much to say more about it. If you've taken a look at the intro, you know what I'm kind of working towards. The whole project has not been revealed at this point. I will reveal it as progress goes along, probably because it's going to change as that happens. So we're going to come over to the bench real quick, and I'll show you what I've done to date and some thoughts I have on it. So a fair amount has happened since the last time I showed this to you, but the first thing I want to address is the roof. I got a couple people commenting that this is not the most water movement efficient way to build a roof. Basically having this slope go right down into a dead area, water will pile up there. Now, I kind of realized that when I was building it, and I decided, you know, the heck with it. I'm just going to have fun with it and not worry about it, primarily because I wanted, you know, one contrasting roof angle to these. I just thought it would add a little bit of interest. So, after hearing those thoughts, I decided I would put in a couple drain spouts to give some sort of plausibility that water is being dumped from those areas. So you'll have to imagine that there's a trough in here that carries the water out to the sides and dumps them out. If you don't like those as drain spouts, then maybe they vent some kind of toxic chemical while they're making special potions or something. Come up with whatever explanation you want. That's as much as I'm going to do to deal with this issue. Second thing that I did is I put in the symbols that I had cut with the silver bullet there, the pattern to sort of tie in this. Now, originally I had thought about running it along the bottom of these windows, and I decided that it's too close to this, and because it's going to be so wide, I thought it was going to compete. I didn't quite like that, so I pushed it up above, and I decided that I would do that and then carry it around all three sides of the building without actually breaching the wood. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put in some metal straps that will come off of these and bind around the wood. And I haven't quite gotten into the details of those at the moment in my mind, but I think that's going to help, again, break up the lines of the wood, as I had mentioned in the past, something that I want to work on. So this came out definitely a little bit bigger than I had originally thought, and it's been kind of, oh, you know what? Did we talk about this last video? I don't know. But in any case, it's been growing on me over time, and I think when it gets painted up, it's going to be all right. That's my current thought. So then I had somebody comment on the suspension of the building and how it looked like it needed something. I think I mentioned in the last video that I was going to do something off of this bottom. You know, hopefully you listen to the entire video and follow through. But I did change something beyond what I was originally planning. I wanted to put something into this corner, and originally I was thinking about some kind of, well, I thought about like a stone archway, but you can't do a stone arch as a half arch like this. So then I thought about doing like a metal sort of ornamental piece that I could put skulls in. Of course, skulls, it's GW, skull, 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 skull. And then that wasn't working out, so I decided to just put in some lumber pieces with strapping that would match the lumber strapping on the front here. So you can see on the front here, let's come in real close on that, so you can see what that strapping looks like. And then, so what I did is I tried to capture that motif with something like that. and I think that is going to make a nice, you know, a nice complement to it. I like how it came out, and it really helps to tie it into the rest of the building, at least on the front end. So then, what am I going to do on the back end? Well, I had this idea, which I'm going to stick with, which is to make some brick pillars that will capture the overall motif of the ones that, you know, sort of buttresses on the front of the building that are already there. So that was, I don't know, I debated a little bit about it. These do taper as they go up, and I liked that, but I didn't want these to be that thin because they just didn't feel substantial enough for a sizable architectural support. So I bulked them out quite a bit. Originally I bulked them out too much, sanded them back down, and then one of the considerations that I had for this is that I want it to sit, and I know there's a little gap there. I'm just going to glue it in place when it's done, and when I do the foundation, you know, the soil and the rock work and all that, I can fill this to whatever level I want, so I'm not worried about that. But I want this to come, say, to this corner here, keep that corner exposed, and that will allow me to bring some of the stonework up, and I'd like to carry it up maybe to about here, and then have one of these sort of pieces that are a capstone coming off of it on either side. And I think not only will it bring that, you know, two parts together visually, but it will also, again, break up this wood line here, and I think that will help overall. So that's the current work that I've been doing on it since I last gave an update. And as a final thought, so this is, you know, we're getting into briefer updates here. I wanted to reconfigure how I was going to mount this piece on the back. Originally, and I'll come up, let's see here. Originally, I had put in a little balsa foam backing to bulk it out away from the building, but it's got this taper here, and I thought it'd be nice to carry that taper down into the foam and make this a smooth transition down to the wall of the building. And I thought I might do that at the roof line as well. And the roof, it doesn't have that taper, but I said, screw it, I'm going to build it up higher and carry it down, and I'll fill this gap so that this has a little bit of a taper as well. The top of this doesn't have any texture at all, but if you look at the front has a little wood grain carved into it, and I just didn't want to make the whole top wood. I don't know, I wanted something a little different, so I might make it wood actually in the end when I sculpt it, but I want to fill this with a material which is going to be milliput based on some feedback, and then that will sort of create the final dressing. And I like it giving just a little bit more texture, you know, when I was talking about last time, a little more 3D bump out to try to give it more interest the way this building has. So what is next on the docket? I want to finish these corners and get the wood cut out and bring the stone up. Then I want to you know, tap into these voids here, and I will be building something that comes out a bit from it. And to be honest, I haven't come up with anything yet, but I'm not worried about it. That's I'll have to sit down and play with some things and think about it a little bit more. I have a giant kit from the GW Giant. It's got all sorts of bits and baubles in it, and I have a note in the box that has all the bits that go to the other buildings that says, go to the Giant sprue kit and look at that. See if there's something, you know, that might be usable here. So I'm going to think about it and see what I can put in to maybe fill that with something GWE and a little more interesting. And then the last thing, before I work on the chimney, remember I'm saving the chimney as my final fun project, is something in the back of these windows here. And the back of these, the peak of the roof area, I'm sure there's a proper name for it. And I have some ideas about it, and I showed you I had made a little stencil of or a little cutout of a fleur-de-lis to put in here. I might still do that, but I would want it to be thicker I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, and it's going to be one of the last things I address before I go on to the chimney for it. So I'm going to play around with it mentally for a little bit while I work on some of the other areas, and then I probably will have come up with something at that time. So that gives you a little look at some of the progress that's been made. Can I just say, it's something simple. I really like how these came out. It was such a much better idea than the crazy stuff I was futzing around with that I thought I would do. Oh, and that very last comment, and then I am going to wrap it up. I mean that. I asked people about fillers for the gaps along the dormers, and there are definitely other places that need filling along some of the stones and some of the divides here around this strap, and of course some of these joins here where I've got some of this and this little gap there. I'm going to go with Milliput. I got a lot of great suggestions, and I've ordered a few things, and I've put a few things in my wish list on Amazon that I might pick up. And once I pick those up somewhere down the road, I might come back and we'll do a little comparison of all these different types of fillers and how they might work out. But I'm going to go with Milliput, at least in the immediate future here, because I think it's going to be what I want, and if it's not, then I have other options going forward. So that gives you a look at the GW Chapel and its current modifications, and I think we'll wrap it up there. So that gives you a quick look at the progress that I've made, and it's been sporadic when I work on it, but I have been chipping away at it, so to speak, chipping away at the balsa foam. And I will be continuing to work on it, so stay tuned to the channel. There will be future updates on it. Questions and comments always welcome down below. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but probably not. So what's coming up in the near future? I'm going to shoot a Q&A right after this video, and there's a link as I wrap these videos up that tells you the email address if you want to submit a question to the Q&A. And of course, don't forget to check out the monthly columns in my Patreon page, because I did a very large article on Envirotex for water effects, and I know I've gotten a lot of questions on that in the past. And I'm going to see if I can squeeze in a little review of something that I bought a little while ago, and see if I can get that into my video to edit queue here for this part of the week. So thank you once again for joining me, and stay tuned to the channel, because you know I will be back soon with another TerranScapes video.